Oh, that's not very nice. Aw, stop teasing her. Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus Christ. Yo. Alright, that's kind of funny. Oh, they're making up now. She got her present. She got her cute teddy bear. Hey, yo. Oh. When I first saw the anime, Higurashi by the way, I knew I just had to see more. And see more I have. And by more, I mean anime that seems like cute and adorable and innocent on the outside, but on the inside, it's actually dark and has a deeper meaning that you just don't understand. You could say I'm kind of quirky like that. A little random, if you will. So I wanted to explore a few recommendations in this video today. Recommendations that fit this sort of sickly cute kind of vibe I've been enjoying in like recent years. They won't necessarily strictly just be anime, but you know, just anime enough, if you get what I mean. Like this first recommendation here that I have as my wallpaper right here. The first sickly cute thing I want to bring up first is Needy Girl Overdose, which is a video game and a music video, and also a YouTube channel that uploads OVA anime. It's really confusing what exactly it is. It's kind of like an OC on Twitter that kind of just spreads about everywhere. I'm not really sure, but oh well, I'm here for it. I bring this up first because Internet Angel is a prime example of the Menhera style, which is going to be a very relevant topic in this video that you need to know about. If you're unfamiliar with what Menhera is, it's Japanese slang that describes like a mentally troubled person. Stereotypically describe a woman in particular, but it's kind of devolved into a fashion or a vibe, if you will. A lot of things could be considered Menhera. It's just sort of interpretation up to this point. From what I've heard, at least what goes on in Japan anyways, if you see someone dressing in a Menhera type of fashion, it's not uncommon for them to be referred to as a landmine, because even though they might appear adorable, innocent, and cute on the outside, you never know when they're about to explode. Which, honestly, I find to be a pretty harsh outlook when it comes to just mental health problems in general. And I guess it just ties into the Japanese culture of being very modest, because you want to hide your problems from everyone else. You're hiding your problems with a layer of cuteness, which is honestly kind of sad. So it's not my intention today to offend anyone who might be truly struggling. I'm just someone who has a lot of nostalgia for scene, metal, emo kind of culture, fashion, just because I think it looks neat. And if anything, it is my personal cope that embracing this sort of trends can actually bring more awareness to these mental health problems, and people who are struggling can feel a bit more comfortable opening up about them. So anyways, that's my disclaimer at the start of the video. Let's loop back to what I'm actually good at talking about. Useless anime stuff on the internet. What Needy Girl Overdose is about is a game where a girl has to pay rent at the end of the month, so she has a grand idea of starting a streaming business because she believes that she could be successful within less than 30 days. Imagine that. So you as a player play as her boyfriend, who plays a sort of producer type of role, who manages her social media, manages her chat, while also helping manage her stress and emotion levels. And let's just say, even though this game has multiple endings, a lot of them are just not good. Even though she streams this cute, innocent internet angel that will save everyone else, it's actually her deep inside who needs saving at the end of the day. All in all, it's a very short and simple game that feeds into my curiosity, but it's more than just a game. Thanks to Ioban, he created a music video, which I imagine most of us are actually come to be familiar with this internet angel. It's a really good music video. I highly recommend you check it out. I'm a big sucker for hardcore and also visuals that make you feel like you're on drugs, but you know, without the drugs. Of course, Menhera isn't exclusive just in an Angel. She wasn't the first one to do it. Menhera has been the thing mainly around like the 2010s, more or less. There was a manga created by a university student who was under stress about exams, so he wanted to create a bunch of magical girls who cut themselves. And then there's also Menhera-chan, who's kind of circulated through Twitter, and you may have seen in edgelord's profile pictures around the internet. But moving on to another sickly cute example, Higurashi, otherwise known as When the Cicadas Cry, which is the clips that you saw at the beginning of this video. This has been in my plan to watch for ages because this is a legendary cult classic that I've seen across all the internet forums alike, and it was such a great experience to finally get around to it last year. You see, like when it comes to horror anime in general, it always misses. It's never quite scary, is it? Like, who's gonna get scared of a cartoon dog? Not me. I'm a big boy. I never cry. But Higurashi was a bit of an exception. Now, you see, like, when I say, like, I got scared with this anime, I'm not talking about, like, kind of scared. I was talking, like, more like, I'm getting the heebie-jeebies here. See, the anime is about a guy called Kaiichi who moves to an old Japanese village in the year 1983. The thing that I hate about this anime, I hate and I also love, is that it almost leads you on that it's a slice of life anime. Like, you have no idea that something is afoot for like several episodes. And then even when it gets to the point where you see the most brutal murder scene that you've ever seen in your life, the anime just carries on as if it never even happened. They just go back to slice of life, they go back to laughing. The girl that you've just seen gone freaking psycho goes back to being cute and adorable. I'd also like to take a moment that Chinese censorship has been absolutely hilarious because for some reason the Chinese just don't like blood, so they will censor it as being white, and it makes for some pretty misleading scenes. All in all, Higurashi, or When the Cicadas Cry, whatever you want to call it, it was quite the unforgettable experience, and it was genuinely very satisfying because even though all the scenes were very confusing to me at first, it all kind of unraveled and made sense in the end. It all came together in a very satisfying way. I highly recommend it, but I would like to take a moment to talk about the ending. So if you don't want to be spoiled, you could skip to this timestamp right here on the screen. Is everyone gone? We good to go? Cool. Okay, good. The ending sucks ass. So after 3 amazing seasons where a mystery is unraveled perfectly, this lemon is the cause of it all. So she gets the power to loop through time, just like Rika. And she uses his unbelievable power to avoid going to school and to avoid doing homework, to avoid studying. The lengths that this lemon goes through is absolutely mind-boggling. So she doesn't want to study, right? But she will abuse her power to literally study a memory game just to win. And then, not only that, she just casually studies 100 years of Rika's loops. Just for funsies.
リカの気持ちを変えるために、私はもっと知らなければなりませんの。もっと知らなければ。それで、どうするつもりだ？先ほどのかけら、すべて、私に見せてくださいませ。100年の時をすべて見るには、等しく100年の月日を費やすことになるが。構いません。
It's only you who's holding yourself back. Lemon. I don't understand why she doesn't just accept going to a different school. She doesn't even have to go to that school. She could just live her own life. And even though she's upset and throwing an absolute tantrum that she can't be playing with her best friend Rika, she only has to wait like 4 years. It's not that big of a deal. She makes everyone suffer just so she can have another playdate. And then what's extra confusing is that the final fight in the final season is just like this weird Dragon Ball Z fight thing that's just completely out of character for the show. Yeah, I just lost all immersion. All the enjoyment that led up to those previous 3 seasons is like just gone out the window. All in all, I still enjoyed the experience as a whole. Man, yeah, every time I think about that ending, I just get angry. But man, what a ride that Higurashi was. Strong recommend. And then there's Oshi no Ko. When the first episode released, it made waves on the internet. For good reason as well. I mean, it was an hour and a half, movie-like production episode, and everyone loved it. I mean, when I first saw it, I instantly grabbed a bunch of my Discord friends and I streamed it to them. All against their will. Amongst a couple of those friends was people who have like never seen anime before, or at least almost never seen anime before, and they still absolutely loved it. It was a fantastic story about idols whose entire job is to be the perfect performer for everyone to be able to worship. But things are not as cute as glamorous as it might seem, as this anime does a really good job at highlighting all the corruption and the struggles that these celebrities have to go through in the industry. So one of these Discord friends that I briefly mentioned earlier, who almost never seen anime before, is a huge metal and reggae fan who is quite in the know when it comes to the industry. And it just added another layer of experience as we were watching this together, and he would just take the time to explain real life examples of the industry just absolutely screwing people over. Just real corruption, real struggles, and sometimes people lost in their struggles. And even though Oshi no Ko is not really based on reality, it added another layer of impactfulness on it. So it was a very dark and eye-opening show that kind of like spread awareness, but in spite of its darkness, a lot of people really grasped on the cuteness side of it. See, I was attending a very small convention in Wales recently, and there was this idol there, Miyajiko Rose, who was performing her own cover of Your Idol by Yaosobi. Miyajiko Rose is my Oshi. And then Oshi no Ko made waves on the internet for other reasons. So before I talk about the manga, I just want to finish my thoughts that I still strongly recommend Oshi no Ko, especially just the anime. My thoughts are a little different on the manga, as you're about to see in a second, but if you do not want to see any spoilers for that, spoilers for the manga and also the ending of the manga, just click on the timestamp right there. Thanks. I'll see you in a bit. If you stuck around, I bet you know exactly what I'm going to bring up, because if you have been an anime fan on the internet for the past couple years, then you've probably already been spoiled on this against your will. And that's the incest, which I'm actually here to defend. Hear me out, okay? Hear me out. Because they're not truly brother and sister, are they? If you already know the premise, you already know that these two characters are just reincarnated, because the people that they were originally were Gojo, who was a well-respected doctor, and Aqua was his 12-year-old cancer patient. Oh god. They were reincarnated as twins, and they both were aware that they were reincarnated from previous people, but their identities were kept a secret all the way up until adulthood in their new reincarnated lives. So our girl Ruby here has lived a total of 30 years, and in the majority of those years, she has held on to these feelings for her sensei. And by that logic, technically, our boy Gojo, or Aqua here, has lived a total of 47 years. And I think that's the only weird thing that we might be able to nitpick, is just the age gap of like maybe 17 years, more or less. But I think that's the only weird thing about it, because at the end of the day, the only thing we actually get that's close to incest is just a love confession, which Aqua rejects. While I was editing this video, I realized my memory was wrong. They actually did kiss after Ruby confessed to him, and Aqua did not reject it. But what he did reject was Ruby's love after that, so the only real defense I could still stand by is that he was just caught off guard by Ruby's pure and honest feelings, but he still managed to be honest with Ruby, and Ruby accepted his rejection just fine, and the story went on after that. Now, at the end of the day, I can recognize that the author seems to have like a barely disguised fetish thing going on in here. Like, he did put like a little focus on the drawing of the certain particular scenes, which are a little sus. I won't ignore that. It's definitely a little sus, but story-wise, I think it's not as big of a deal as the internet has made it out to be, personally. And then let's talk about the ending, which has actually caused a lot of riots on the internet. You might call this like the third waves, and I'm actually shocked at how many people were just spoiled by this. Like, I managed to avoid most of the spoilers, and I was able to enjoy the ending for what it was, and it was mid. To summarize the ending, Aqua discovers the entire truth of Ai's murder and creates a film exposing everything, including his father, Hikaru. With the help of Akane, she discovers that Ruby is still in danger and devises a plan to set up a dummy with a protective vest, which exposes Nino. Nino is arrested and confesses to all the missing pieces of the mystery, including a string of murders and where they took place. Aqua then takes it upon himself later on to confront his father, Hikaru, and goes all stabby mode. Hikaru attempts to manipulate Aqua into thinking that his own death would not only have no meaning, but the image of having a murderous brother would taint Ruby's idol career. So Aqua says, "Nuh-uh," and stabs himself before stabbing Hikaru. That way, he fabricates a story that it was actually Hikaru that was the aggressor, and Aqua's death looks like an accident during a struggle. It's almost like the author didn't really know what to do, so he just killed characters off and just said, that's it, that's the ending, and too bad, too sad. See you next time. A lot of things were quite out of character, especially for Aqua, who tends to be quite calculated. He is definitely encouraged other people not to self-sacrifice, and yet he does everything that he has disdained the whole time. So I thought that was really dissatisfying, in my opinion. But what I think most fans are upset about is we need to understand the context. A lot of Oshi no Ko fans are, in nicer terms, degenerates. Alright, these guys love their ships, they love their fanfics, they love role-playing in the Reddit comments. Bruh, I joined this community for this? So I think a lot of these fans are just upset that their favorite ship just didn't work out, especially Akane. She had a lot of fans and a lot of ships, and the ending just kind of left her in the dust. But I don't think it's worth taking the fans all too seriously, in my opinion. Like I said, I still strongly recommend Oshi no Ko, especially from an anime perspective. The manga, I don't think you're missing out much, if I'm being honest. I don't recommend that too much. It's not the worst thing in the world. The art is still incredibly pretty, and it is still a story with an ending at the end of the day. It's just mid. Just do it if you want, I guess. And then lastly on my list of recommendations in this video is School Live. That's it. That's all I'm going to say about it. And the reason why is because I promise you, just trust me on this, dog, it is way better to go in this as blind as possible. If you liked anything I talked about in this video already, if anything interested you, then you will like this. All I will say is that it's just a short 12 episodes long, and I cried at least maybe 4 times. And that just about wraps up this video. I hope you liked what I had to say about my favorite edgy anime. And don't forget to join the Discord in the description below. If you're watching this on the day it uploads, which is a Thursday, then this Saturday, I plan on binging Your Lie in April in the Discord. I'm going to be streaming all 22 episodes. It's going to be sick. It's going to be fun. And the reason why is because Your Lie in April is rated as the #1 romance anime of all time. Alright, so technically Sword Art Online's on there, but we all know that doesn't count because Sword Art Online is not actually a romance anime. My next video is going to be about romance and talk about my favorite romance anime. There's going to be a lot of hot takes for that, so make sure you like this video, make sure you subscribe. All the activity helps me out a lot. And I just hope to see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.